In this tutorial, we are going to learn about how to create an array of objects. This is a continuation from the tutorial where we introduced how to write your first class and create an object out of that. So we're going to, basically continue, carry on where we left off. And I am going to create multiple objects here. So here we got a car 1. I'm going to create car 2 and car 3. Oops. Okay. So we got our class car, and we're just creating more variables and assigning new car objects to it, so that we can have multiple cars on the screen. And so here I am going to replicate the same thing. Oh, except what would be maybe wise to do is I can do random width, random height. And if I do that, my cars are not going to overlap on top of each other, right? Okay, so I got 3 cars, and I'm gonna go down here and do the same thing. So inside of my draw, I'm gonna do car 2 dot body, car 3 dot body. In this way, creating new car line by line, and it's gonna generate a random X and random Y every time it creates a new car. And I'm gonna delete this, and I'm going to load each of its body feature every time draw is loaded. So there we go, right? There is our 3 different cars, and they're all just beautifully scattered on the screen. But obviously, knowing what we have learned, and knowing what we know now, there might be a better way to write this, right? And this better way that I'm going to propose is, what if we place this list of objects that we intend to create onto an array, right? And we can actually combine that with a for loop, so that we create a new car every time the for loop is executed, and we place that new car onto a different item on the array. So we're going to do exactly that. And we're going to start off by replacing our car 1, 2, 3 global variable with let cars equals to empty array. so now by line 1, the program knows that we have a variable container called cars, and it is a array. It is a list that has, that's empty at the moment. And we're gonna now go into our setup, and we're gonna try to replicate, what's happening from line 8 to 10 right above it. So what I'm gonna write is for let I equals to 0, oops, I smaller than 3, I plus plus, opening, closing curly bracket, and I'm gonna say cars, and my array with I, and equals to new car random with random height. And I'm gonna delete that. Okay, so now if I hit play, the program is gonna yell at me because I think that's because over here the car 1, 2, 3 variable is no longer existing, right? So what we have to do now is also replacing our line 17 to 19 by the quickest, kind of most like seamless and smooth way to do this that I've learned is copying your for loop that you have created for creating your class inside of your setup. So highlight them, copy them, bring it down, hey stem, and we will do a little surgery here, take off everything that includes the equal sign to the right and delete that, and I'm gonna write dot body. So you know, this is exactly the same similar process to set up. We're creating another for loop. Inside of this for loop, it's gonna load cars 0, cars 1, cars 2 dot body every time the for loop executes, right? So if we hit play, ta-da! There's our 3 cars on the screen. That's very exciting. So this is how you create an array of objects. I am going to continue and add additional features to this car. There's, you know, all kinds of things you can do from here. But maybe the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add more cars. I'm gonna make it 10 cars. Boop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it move. So I'm going to add an additional method here. I'm gonna call it move. And I'm going to say something along the lines of this dot x plus plus, right? So this dot x, the member variable x, is going to move to the right, and that is going to be its default features, right? And in fact, if this dot x becomes bigger than the width, then this dot x equals to 0. Okay, so if we hit play now, nothing is going to happen because, very important to remember, we gotta load our method in draw if we want to be able to see it on the screen, right? So cars I dot move. Okay, now I'm gonna hit play. And so what you are seeing here is that now every single car's got its own set of x and y value, right? And it's gonna reach, you know, the edge of the screen. Actually goes over a little bit. You can refine that, and each one of them is going to be able to have their own tracking system of knowing when to return to 0, right? So this is the power of using class and objects. You have a blueprint of car. It creates multiple different objects. Each of these objects, it's almost like they're all autonomous in a way. They all operate on their own, you know, terms. They're not all kind of like tied in with each other. They have a blueprint to start off with, and then they go. they operate on their own terms now. So this is cool. In the next tutorial, we are going to integrate a frog into the game. And we're also gonna figure out how we can create different levels.